A voucher system works. It gives a better quality education at a significantly lower price. And I know some people who don't like the idea of a voucher system are more concerned about the poor. What about the inner cities if you give a, put out a voucher system? Well, let me explain something about that voucher system. I recently discovered there's an organization called BAO. It's the Black Alliance for Educational Opportunity. I urge you to go to their website. Over 75 of the people in the inner cities that they had polled want a voucher system. You only have to look at what recently happened in Washington, D.C. when they eliminated the voucher system, and that was cruel what they did to those students. So anyway, those are the 3 plans that I have, or I should say, that I would push forward. But the one thing that I know and I understand is that as a state legislator, you have the constitutional authority and the sworn duty to stand against an overreaching, out-of-control federal government. And our God-given rights are not negotiable. And as your senator, among my responsibilities will be to stay on message, be consistent in my voting, uncompromising in my principles, and determined to see necessary reforms while always protecting your right to life, liberty, and property. One thing I'll leave it with, the last thing, our Michigan Constitution, the very first article says, all political power is inherent in the people. It's time to reclaim our power.
When you talk about education and elementary, grade school education, very important. What about higher education? What you say you're in Wayne County, you're running for Wayne County. I go to Wayne State. I just finished my freshman.
I just finished this course in Wayne State.
We had a tuition increase because we didn't get any money from Lansing.
Okay.
Now, what is your what are your thoughts on that?
You probably won't like my thoughts on this. Are you familiar with Hillsdale College and Rockwood University? Those are 2 shining examples of private universities that are just excellent.
We're going to beat them this year at football.
Wouldn't surprise me.
You're teaching not academic science and math.
And my feeling is that if those colleges and others can survive on their own without government taxpayer funding, then I think all colleges should. A lot of these colleges, particularly if you look at University of Michigan, it has a huge endowment fund. So why are taxpayers who are being taxed to support that university not able to send their own kids to that college because they can't afford it? So as far as I'm concerned, you should be able to stand on your own merit. And I think that we should stop funding higher education. If it was fair for all, if you were taking people's tax dollars and saying, hey, if you're going to pay it in your property taxes or whatever, then your child gets to go to school, go to college, and I would say, okay, that's fine. But I don't think the way it's set up today is fair. And I also believe, very strongly, because I've been a student of Austrian economics for quite a long time, and I can tell you, when the government injects itself into the marketplace, all it does is screw it up. Not even the government, out of the market. And as it relates to higher education, I think that because the state provides money, what's the incentive to drive down costs of tuition? There isn't. So I think, I don't know if you noticed recently, Eastern Michigan University is now running ads trying to attract students to their university. And one of their catch, their hook is, there's zero increase.
For 2010.
Right, in tuition, all right? So what does that tell me? It tells me it can be done. And I would suspect that if there was no federal funding and no state funding for those colleges and universities, you'd see prices come down even further. They haven't. That to me is the solution. So as far as higher education is concerned.
Well, but that would require you working on policy and rules and regulation of the school system. So whether or not you give us money doesn't matter. I just want to see something done that might help me as a student. Because I'm one of the poorest majorities in the United States. We're college students.
Right.
We don't have very much. And I've had to take out loans for school.
You and a whole lot of other people. And let me just make a point about that too. If you're able to get a loan for your education, then what's the incentive to drive the cost down further? If you couldn't get a loan for that education, they would have to make it affordable to you. And where is that loan coming from? From the federal government. They're the ones backing all those loans. Well, why should the taxpayers be on the hook for that? In fact, I don't even think the federal government, I know the federal government doesn't even have the constitutional authority to do that. If you could work something out with the university, finding a way that, I don't know, maybe they'd be willing to, start a program where they would fund the student would pay them back after they graduated. I don't know. But there's so many philanthropic organizations out there that give money. The problem is that we're taking money from people forcibly. It's not charity when you take it and give it to somebody else. So if you were to free up people's income, whether it's through eliminating the income tax or the property tax, now you've got more money to decide what you want to do with it. Do you want to fund or contribute to somebody who wants to go to college? Yeah, you'd have the right to do that. And you probably would have more money floating in around the country to send kids to college. People typically are much more generous than the government. The last number, I think it was last year, $330 billion people of this country gave to charity. Far exceeded what the government ever gave. So, if you, like I said, if you let people keep their money, they'll spend it smarter. And I think you'll find
I told you Dan was shy. Can I say that? I told you he was shy. I'm going to take a couple minutes right now. I'm going to introduce the groups. Ladies and gentlemen, this was put on tonight